Friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nikki. If you're new here, I am a homeschooling mom to an only child in the 2nd grade. I'm going to tell you today why Write Shop Primary Book B is not going to work for us, unfortunately. If that is something that interests you, I plan to do a flip through and review on the curriculum and very few thoughts on it because I'll tell you why. But if that interests you, then keep watching. Okay, Write Shop. I'm going to flip the camera around here very soon and just give you a pretty good flip through. I don't have a lot of thoughts that I can even verbally say because I feel like the curriculum confused the crap out of me to where I don't even know how to explain this curriculum to you and how to use it and how and why it doesn't work, other than I can just tell by flipping through it and the very black and white text and the student activity pack, and everything is just very dry for me personally. And the repetition is sort of intense. The planning is sort of intense. You can do 1, 2, or 3 week on one lesson. But there's 8 activities per lesson in the book, and that seemed extremely overdone in my opinion. They do have a writing process, and for some people I have read or seen in other YouTube videos where it's like trust the process and stuff like that, but like I'm not going to drag my child through something that I know she's likely not going to enjoy. So for me, Write Shop was just not a good fit for us, as it just seemed too much and not entertaining. So as you see here, this is the table of contents. It's a lot, if I'm honest. If you see teaching the lessons, there is a lot on how to teach the lesson. And then these are the lessons itself and their focus, their theme, and everything that will be included in this book B. So there are, I believe, 10 lessons. Then as we move forward, we are on the welcome and introduction page. I want you to keep in the back of your mind, this is page 1. There is a lot of information in this book, as you're going to see through this flip through. There is almost a little too much information, but there is a planning your schedule page, and I feel like this revisits later on as well. But this is a 3-week lesson plan for a 30-week year 1, so it can take the course over 2 years to complete if you for the primary series. And then these are like kind of like a guided schedule for either a 1, 2, or 3 week lesson option, and lots of different options here. And I think that's a great thing to have, is just like how to break it up if for whatever works best for your school. Materials and supplies is kind of things that you have around the house and not really anything you have to worry about. They have how to create a writing center, which like that just wasn't a thing, isn't really a thing or needed for us. The type of paper, pencils and tools and stuff like that. But as you could see, this is what I mean by there is potential here, but I just think like it's too much to overwhelm me personally. And then teaching the lesson, it has between the focus, the theme, choosing an alternate theme if you don't like what they have already, the objectives, they have materials, they have advanced prep, they have plan ahead. Before you begin book B, they also go on and discuss how you should have certain things, but like as you can see, it's just a lot. And I don't feel like the organization, like the activity type of thing should have been placed differently than where it was at. It explains the guided writing practice and how to teach that. And then it goes into scheduling and timing and tips and guidelines and examples, and how the activities are done. But if you could see how, I think at some point I get to where it says 36 pages before we even get to lesson 1. Like we're on 18 right now. So as you can see, it's just a lot of information, and it might just be overwhelming for a parent who wants to teach writing, but this is like just an intense way, in my opinion, to get started. So as you could see, it's going through each activity and how to teach the activity, as there is 8 activities per lesson. And it does include some things to help writers that are slightly more advanced, and ways to slow it down if you need more time. But like for me, I could not picture taking one of these lessons and working on it for 3 weeks, let alone 2 weeks. And in 1 week, it just seemed like that was a lot of work. And they have want to do more as well, in case you want the opportunity to keep going. Then they also have the super speller, which honestly I didn't even really read on too much because I knew I didn't want to include spelling with my writing. I have something completely separate for that. So if that's something that interests you, you can pay closer attention to these pages. And then again, we have before you begin book B, there are pointers and the story idea file box, another option to have. And then they want you to create these garden of rhyming words, which is part of the advanced prep. It's a lot, my friends. It's a lot even looking at this again and going back over it for this video. And then it has all the words you can use for the rhyming garden. Beginner writers or advanced writers. And at last, we are on lesson 1, writing a letter. And as you can see, this is how it is laid out. And that is kind of the order in which they, prefer to have these things done. Again, we have planning your schedule, which I thought had already mentioned this, so I'm not sure why they're reiterating the schedule. Activity set 1 is making sure you are set for this 1 activity page for the entire lesson. And it does explain how it can be broken up. And it does want you to do more word family flowers. This is the activity pack. It's fairly inexpensive. And it comes, literally there's 1 sheet, I think, per lesson. And this is the first lesson. It is writing a letter to a grandparent, and it just has ways to get more detail out of it. And then at some point later on, they can use the back of that to write. This is lesson 2, which they're focusing on spelling, which again was not really what I was wanting to focus this curriculum on. And then lesson 3 is just tracing letters. And they all seem to have that back page. Some don't, but most do. So like I said, one of these pages would be the entire page for the entire lesson and how much time you spent on that lesson, whether that be 1 week, 2 week, or 3 weeks. So as you can see, it's, focused on the same thing. And so I feel like the repetition would lose my child's interest and not be as fun and engaging for her.
specifically. So I'm not going to show you each and every one of the activity sets, but this is just kind of a glance as to what it looks like. And we are on the second one. So we're still working on the friendly letter to the grandparent. It has the whole conversation you can have back and forth with your child. Then it has a little bit of review and pre-writing activities, picture books that you can use to go along with that, and a game, some kind of boogie game. And now you're on to guided writing practice, directions, more dialogue and prompts.
So as you can see, Write Shop is pretty intense for what I expected it to be. I think I pointed out it had 36 pages of like instructional content, and everything between tips and guidance and how to set up your workspace and how to set up everything. And there was just so much that I was like, I'm overwhelmed. And if I'm overwhelmed, like she's gonna be overwhelmed. And it just didn't have a clear direction. It just had so much that like it needed to be simplified and just organized better for me to be able to just try it. And I thought the student pack was pretty less than stellar. The student pack itself is fairly inexpensive. The teacher book is quite pricey. I mean, it was very basic, and the activity pages, and then the repetition between each activity, and then it's like, be flexible, but like here's your plan and here's your 2-day, 3-day, 5-day plan. I'm like, I could never spend 3 weeks on one lesson like that. It just was a lot. So I'm not here to just like bash the company or the curriculum. It clearly is not going to work for me. We did not even try it. I gave her 1 page. She wrote what she wrote, and like we were done. So if you were interested in purchasing Write Shop Primary, I would highly suggest maybe buying a used copy first so that you can get your hands on it and see if it's something, if that complex of something is what you want for your kid. Then by all means, then you'll know if you want to purchase it new, or if you just want to grab that student pack, which is fairly inexpensive. Those are just my opinions. Obviously, if you already use Write Shop and you love it, more power to you. I just looked at it and I just saw so much on one page that I was just like, that's overwhelming. And there's no, I just don't have words. I just keep repeating myself because it's so hard for me to articulate how this curriculum made me feel, other than it was just a nope. So I hope you can appreciate my nope, and I hope you understand. And I wanted to do a flip through for you. I wasn't going to do all 8 or all lessons, because that, as you can see, that's a lot of pages, and this video could be very long if I did that. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me a like and subscribe down below if you have not already. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.